Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. Tracy Makarenko joining us here today. Excited to have her here as an intuitive healer and holistic life coach. Let's welcome her back from the show from beautiful Vancouver Island on the west coast of Canada. She comes to us here live. How are you?
I'm really doing well today. How are you doing, Jill?
I'm doing great, thank you. Pleasure to have you back here. And it's always exciting to get to know you. And for new timers out there, tell us a little bit about your family.
Oh, mother of two daughters. My oldest turned 30 last week.
Oh my goodness.
I know. And then a 27-year-old, a son-in-law. And then, of course, we always talk about my grandcat, Wilder.
Yep.
So,
Mm-hmm.
married. Can't forget the husband. Yeah.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And you live in this beautiful spot. By the way, how's the weather there today?
Yeah, we don't really want to talk about the weather today. We
Oh,
had snow this week, which we get maybe 3 times a year. Most of it's
wow.
gone now, but
Okay.
we have a lot of rain. How about you guys?
Oh, it's been rainy as ever. We'll get another inch and a half coming tomorrow. So it's been a kind of a wet. Today's a decent day, but it's all coming back. But we'll get through it, and that's what you do, right? A lot of different things. Share a little bit about the work that you offer, and we'll talk about your book as well. Please give us some of your background.
Absolutely. So, in 2004, I started my business as a Reiki master and actually a reflexologist. I don't do reflexology anymore, but over the years,
Okay.
I added a lot of different modalities. Cranial sacral therapy, visceral manipulation, which works the organs, which is kind of why I gave up the visceral manipulation part or the reflexology part because I was able to do the hands-on. I can actually work on the brain, and all that work can be done
Wow.
virtually. It doesn't have to be done in my office. So that's the great thing about healing is it can go through time and space, and it can be done anywhere in the world. I'm also a holistic life coach. It has a bit of a shamanic background, so there's another level to that where I can really get into soul parts and past lives. I'm intuitive, so we're always bringing in something from the other side into the healing experience. And then I've written 2 books. So one book I published in 2014. Oh my God, was it 2014? Oh, good Lord.
Like, wait a
Yeah,
second.
so
Yeah.
it's called Moving from the Outside In. I've actually just redid that book, second edition's on Amazon right now. And then I co-authored an Amazon bestseller called I Am a Brilliant Woman. And you can find
Amazing.
that on Amazon as well. That was 2016. I think it's
Wow.
time to maybe start writing another book.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how you do it. God bless you. My goodness. If you want to reach out to her, the best way to go is the website, right? It's
Yeah.
TracyMakarenko.com, or again, Tracy Makarenko on Facebook, Instagram, or you can email her at Tracy. Again, that's TRACY at TracyMakarenko.com. Now, you've been talking a lot about spiritual awakening, right? On not only being on the physical level, but it's that aha moment, you realize you said your body has the capability to heal itself. So you talked a lot about these different modalities already.
Yeah. So, I mean, we know the body has the opportunity to heal itself. We get a cut, it heals itself. We have
Amazing.
surgery, it heals itself. So,
Hmm.
it can heal itself on a metaphysical level as well. So, when we have traumas, in my experience, not only with my own personal self, but with my clients, is a lot of times those traumas stay stuck in our body because we just do not have the capacity to handle them at the time when they happened. Most of them happen when I shouldn't say that. We have traumas happening all the time, but the ones that stay stuck in our body typically are from our childhood because we do not have the maturity to deal with what has happened to our person. And so a lot of times it doesn't only stay stuck in our physical tissues, but
Hmm.
in our memory tissue and in our emotional tissue. So when we are finally ready to take a deep dive and see what's holding us back, some of these traumas show up. years later. And we're capable of handling it as an adult. But a lot of this trauma comes back at the age it was when it happened. And so we have to integrate some of those bits and pieces back into who we are. And that's where we get our childlike behavior back, is when we heal those traumas, because not only the trauma part of your 8, 9, 10, 5, 4, 3-year-old comes back, but some of that innocence comes back, and some of that joy comes back, and some of that fun comes back. So, that healing is just a very amazing thing for me.
Well, we're glad to have you back here. And we're going to open up the phone lines today, obviously. 631-307-4010, 631-307-4010. If you have any questions for her today, as we talk more about her healings and what's involved. And we're excited to have you. So, Tracy, did you have an area of focus for today's show? I know we talked a lot about healing in general. Did you have something in mind for today?
Well, you know what? I'm just not sure what people want to ask, but I'm here to be open about healing, or if they want to talk about, talking to their guides, or if there's something else on a metaphysical level. I don't know, Jill, do you have a question for me?
Yeah, I mean, you you talk about healing in a sense, right? And I spoke to someone just before who she runs a podcast and a website where she's healing with cancer patients. She talks to people who have healed, and there's amazing stories out there that people have healed themselves from something like this without any medical attention. And it just blows my mind away that this is possible. Seeing is believing, talking to people is believing. But like you mentioned, the cut here heals itself if you get a cut. Why can't we heal our cancer or our ailments? I mean, you hear these fascinating stories and it's like, wow, doesn't work for everyone. So what makes it a success for some and not for all? I mean, how do you figure that factor out? Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, one, you have to have an open mind to it. I've had people come in and they're like, okay, this is my diagnosis. This is what I have. And I'm like, well, are you stuck on keeping that, or are you open to letting it go? Well, what do you mean? Well, I can't heal what's going on in your body if you insist
mm-hmm,
on still having this disease or this illness.
got
You have to
it.
be willing to not have it in order to heal from it. So, I mean, that's the biggest part, is just opening your mind to the fact that you don't have to have whatever it is the doctors told you you've had. I've I've had people come in to my office, and as soon as I put my hand on them, I know there's cancer happening in the body. It's a very, very dense feeling, like there's no life. I mean,
Wow.
cancer has its own life, but it's not the life force that we typically carry in our own body. So, I mean, it depends on where they are on what level of, how much cancer they have in their body. Depends on how much you can actually help
So you
some of the
actually
people.
can feel. So it's like a dull. Describe it again. Say it's like here. It's on my hand. You put your hand right over it. You don't have to touch it.
Oh
And
no, because I always just start with my hand on the solar plexus. So
okay.
from the solar plexus, I scan the whole body and I can figure out what's going on. So I mean, typically I work with a lot of women. I do work with men as well. But so the most common is, cervical cancer, uterus cancer, breast cancer. And I you can feel that there's no movement of light, let's say light energy moving through that area. Like something's happened. If there's an injury, say you have an injury, there's still something moving through there. You can feel that it's not quite right, but there's still something moving through there. With with cancer, even the beginnings of cancer, it's like, I want to say, like a black hole. It's like there's an emptiness in that space. So, I mean, personally, I do my work because I don't want to get cancer. I know if I hadn't done this work, I probably would have gotten it a long time ago, just with my negative attitude and my misery I was carrying around with me. Um, the happier, the
That's crazy.
true, the true happier we are, the better it is. Like if we're just pretending to be happy, that's not going to help. But if we
Interesting.
are
It
truly,
knows.
truly happy, it's hard for cancer to get a hold of us. And different cancers come from different places. Breast cancer comes from us typically over nurturing someone else or many someone
Really?
else's rather than ourselves.
I've never heard of that before. What do you mean? If we're giving too much of our love or a light to someone?
No, 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 because that's done at a very high frequency. So typically, if you have a family member and okay, so this is the most common example I
Okay.
have come across is there's four siblings. One sibling's not married or is divorced, and the kids are grown up. They're the ones that have been picked to go take care of a parent that's not well.
Okay.
They understand that the rest of their siblings are busy. They understand it. They do it. They're happy to spend time with their family member they're taking care of. But there's also resentment because all of a sudden the other siblings never can come over and take care of this person. They're stuck doing it constantly. Eventually, the parent passes away and the caregiver ends up with breast cancer. So it's not just they're not happy doing this. They are, but they're also building a lot of other emotions that are
Wow.
very negative in their body. And because it has to do with nurturing, it tends to show up in the breast. So that's just one example. I mean, there's lots of different examples. But depending on when it's caught, you can definitely reverse it. So there's all these different layers in the body. We've talked about the physical body having, stuff inside of it. But we have our aura, and there's one layer called the etheric layer. And
Okay.
I don't know when it's really hot outside and you look on a car, you see that little bit of energy kind of vibrating. Have you ever noticed? Or heat coming off of the
Yeah.
ground? So the etheric layer kind of looks a little bit like that when you
Okay.
look at it intuitively. And it's about that thick, but it's a blueprint of everything that's happening in our body. And stuff shows up in that layer up to 3 months before it hits our physical body.
Wow.
So if you can help remove it out of that layer, like you're working on the physical body as well, of course, to lighten the darkness that's there. But if you can also release it out of that etheric layer, you're slowly releasing it out of the body down the line. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's fascinating, actually. Wow. Got to point out again, the lines are open 631-307-4010, 631-307-4010 if you have any questions. Wow. It's baffling and it's in a good way to hear this type of feedback that you can really be helped. And, medicine has its place, I understand, but why not try all modalities, right? And you a
Yeah,
believer in that?
absolutely. Like if I had
Yeah.
cancer, I wouldn't leave it up to just the holistic community to
Up.
help me. You
Hello?
know,
Hello, hello?
Hello.
Hi, welcome
Hi.
to the show. Hi, who's this?
Hi, my name is Justin.
Hi, Justin. You are live on the line today here with Tracy. And do you have any questions for her?
Yes, so my grandfather, he's had cancer for a couple of years, prostate cancer, and he currently doesn't do like any treatments or anything. It's kind of hard getting him to like do any treatments. He kind of just wants to roll with it. But I was just wondering if there's any like I don't know, like any other ways that he could help him feel better because like chronically he's in pain a lot. And again, he doesn't like do any treatments or anything. I was just wondering if there's anything like I don't know, like a program or like a routine that can help him just day to day, like to feel better.
thanks for the question, Justin. That's a big one. I mean, so he's not doing any medical or holistic treatments?
Nope, not
No.
right now. No. He started a little bit, but then when my grandmother passed away, he kind of just stopped everything. He doesn't want to do anything. Doesn't want to go to like doctors and stuff anymore.
I'm so sorry. That's a very difficult situation to be in. Because it
Yeah.
sounds like you really love your grandfather, of course. Um,
Yeah, I just want him to feel better, you know. I want to do anything I can to help him feel better too.
yeah, I know. Um, I mean, I'm all about doing the holistic healing to help things improve. So, I mean, the best thing for all of us in life is just to have a positive attitude and laugh as much as you possibly can. I don't know if that will cure the cancer that he's dealing with, but it will definitely improve his mood because right now he's dealing with grief, it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. He's had the cancer for a couple of years now too, you know what I mean? Yeah, so my grandmother actually just died recently too, so it's like he just kind of gave up on everything. He still laughs and smiles and stuff, but yeah, I mean, you think holistic healing would like work and just like helping him feel better from day to day, like chronically?
Well, it depends on if he believes in it. You know,
Okay.
if you want to live, you can find all sorts of different ways to live. And I'm not trying to,
Right.
you know, I'm just stating stuff. So, but if nothing else, like getting a Reiki treatment helps lighten that load and it makes you feel it just makes you feel happier. Like, you know, it lifts all the stress off of the body. So it does change things for sure. Just even getting a Reiki session done. Visceral manipulation, someone would actually work right on the prostate to try and get fluid flowing back through the prostate to help reduce the prostate, to
Okay.
get movement happening. So you might want to reach out to find a visceral manipulation therapist for that specific thing. And I personally,
Definitely.
I would suggest maybe you see somebody just to help you because it's a lot. It sounds like you're dealing with a lot.
Yeah, I know. Cancer takes everybody. It took my mom back in 2020, 2021. But yeah, definitely. I'm gonna look into that Reiki. I'm gonna try and get him to see somebody for sure. It's a little bit of a struggle getting him to, you know what I mean, comply and like do stuff anymore. But you know, I'm sure if I have a good enough talk with him, he'll be more interested in doing it. Especially if I tell him it'll help him, you know, from day to day. I'm sure he'd love to do it.
I mean, if you want to book something with me, I can do it virtually as well. So that's,
Really, you do online?
yeah, like I can send it to anywhere in the world.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to get that information. Definitely. Hopefully, if he doesn't want to like get out of the house and do anything, he can always do something virtually. It'd be probably really good for him.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Thank you
right.
so much. And remind us, Tracy, how we can contact you.
You can email me at Tracy, Tracy, at tracymakarenko.com. You can also go on my website and there's a link to contact me there as well. And the website is Tracy, TracyMakarenko.com.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean,
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Justin. Have a fantastic
Thank you.
day. Thank you.
You guys have a
And
great weekend.
you too.
thanks.
Anyone else want to call 631-307-4010? The lines are open, 631-307-4010. Wow. Great call. And I'm
Yeah.
sure you've talked to a lot of people with similar situations, but whoa.
And you know, not everyone can make that leap of faith that this healing can happen, you know, so far apart. People think you have to be there and have your hands on, but sometimes healing virtually is even better. And I say that because it's like the body doesn't get in the way. And I know that sounds weird, but sometimes you can get into different spaces, not just on a physical level, but on an energetic and a metaphysical level to really adjust and shift things differently than if the body was there and you have to work through all the physical layers first to get to some of the other layers.
Oh, I got chills from this one. Awesome, awesome work. What else did you want us to, I guess navigate through here, some situations or stories for our listeners who could benefit from this? And again, if you want to call us, the lines are open 631-307-4010 if you have any questions.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to be getting into the cancer side of things today. So And it's not just that, it's people with MS, people with diabetes, high blood pressure. It doesn't have to be like life-threatening
Hmm.
necessarily, but you can definitely reverse all sorts of different ailments that people have, and remove it completely, because a lot of our ailments are connected to a state of mind, just like with the breast cancer that we talked about. There's different things that happen in our lives that bring on different illnesses or diseases, and that's why this is what I think. This isn't the medical scientific side, but we end up having the same illnesses and diseases as our family members because we have the same thought processes as them. So you'll find one family member who doesn't have that illness, and you'll probably notice they think a little differently than their parents or their siblings. Um, yeah, I just find all of it very, very interesting. I remember when this was initially came into my realm. Let's say I was at a class and people are talking about it. I was like, what? This is crazy. Like, how is this possible? But after 20 years of being in the business, you definitely see how things repeat in a different way.
Well, thank you. Fascinating. Let me ask, you've been doing this for quite some time and you say, well, it's an innate thing, right? You've been as a child in a sense. Um, do you recommend people reading your book? What can they gain from
Oh,
that? Yeah, you haven't brought up the book.
thanks for asking, Jill. I
You're
know
welcome. She's so modest, so humble.
there's so much that goes on, but no, I mean, I wrote this book from the total depths of my soul. Like, there's stuff in that book that I'm embarrassed to read now just because of how honest I got about a lot of stuff. People love the book that read the book. They love it, and when they sit down with it, they literally sit down and they finish it from beginning to end. It's not really a book you put down and then pick up later. I've had people show me their copies and they've highlighted stuff. They've marked the pages so they go back and they remember to look at it. I I started off the book when I was going through quite a difficult period of my life, and I revert the book to like the beginning of my life to try and figure out how I got to where I was, because I was in such a very low place in my life at that time. And so it's about like connecting some of the dots, but then from that point, the healing that takes place and moving forward through all the different healings that I did in order to just feel better. And I got so much more than just feeling better. Like, I got to feel amazing. I got to manifest my life from something that felt like there was really, I'm not saying suicidal, but no point. It's like, why am I doing the same rat race every single
Hmm.
day? Like, I need more than this. And my life compared to then, like even 20 years ago, I'll say, or when I wrote the book 10, 11 years ago, um, I couldn't even have manifested this if I had thought that this is the life I wanted. Like, I had no idea that this was capable, I was capable of this. And I get excited thinking about how much my life can shift and change in 6 months, a year, let alone 10 years. So I guess my question to people who are listening is, when are you ready to make the change? Like, when do you want to get unstuck? Like, or do you want to be in the same spot next year that you are this year? What are you willing to do to shift things and improve things? And I don't know, just be happier,
Yeah, that's
you
the
know?
advice we can leave off with for today. Oh my gosh, we're out of time. Yeah, perfect. Wow. How do we find the book
Yeah.
too? We gotta promote everything. So
Yeah.
Tracy, again, her website's TracyMakArenko.com. And the book is on there, a link to that. Can we also get it on Amazon?
Yeah, you can find it on Amazon, Moving from the Outside In by Tracy McRanco. And it really is an amazing book. I have a hard time talking about it like that just because, but it's like you said, Jill, I need to step in, and yeah, it has everything in there you could possibly want to know about changing your life in
Perfect.
multiple ways.
All right. Well, thank you for being here again. And thank you to Justin, I believe, right? Justin was his name who called in?
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Justin.
All right. Have a fantastic day and an even better weekend. And we'll be back again next week, right?
Yes, I'll see
All
you
right.
next week.
Sounds
Happy
good. Cheers.
International Women's Day.
Yes, that's right. I forgot about that today. Thank you for reminding me. Feeling good. Same to you. Thank you.
Have a great day, Jill.
Bye.
Bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.